Hey everyone, Sam Signorelli, H1 Fencing. Welcome back to Can Haz Armory. This time, cutting a tang down for a pistol grip on a foil and epee. The problem with cutting the tangs down is sometimes you have to be very careful how short you cut them, depending which nut you use. If you're fortunate to have a broken blade, like this one here, and you want to replace it with a blade, you can always just kind of put the pieces together like this, stick it in the vise, and then cut it there. But sometimes you don't have that option. You need to know where to cut and how to measure it. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, so in order to cut the tang properly for the pistol grip, you have to know what the tang is. The tang of any bladed object, be it a foil, a gladius, a katana, or a steak knife, is that part of the blade that is within the grip. Therefore, this part here is the tang on this epee. Okay, this is too long. This is a French length tang. We had to cut it shorter to fit a pistol grip. The problem is that the length is not a uniform length because the distance from the nose of the grip to where the shelf or the nut sits is not a uniform length, not standardized. They tend to be, on most manufacturers, right here at the front of the thumb hook. Sometimes they're back here like on Zivkovics. So they're not a uniform length. Also, as even the same grip, manufacturer's grip size, these are cast as they cool. Sometimes they cool to slightly different dimensions. Also, from different sizes, the biggie. If you have like a Visconti size 0, a kid's small grip, and you go to V1, this length changes because the grip gets bigger and it scales up. Therefore, in a situation you might have had the tang sticking out enough to catch the nut, now it's like this, and you can't grab the nut. So you have to make sure you cut the length correctly. As I said earlier, you could simply abut a broken blade and replacement blade and cut that, but sometimes you can't do that if you're building a new blade. So here is how I cut the tangs for an inside hex grip. Okay. So I have my Belgian grip here. I got the whip it's going to go on. First you do is make sure it's going to go all the way down. That one does. Sometimes the nose here gets a little tight and it binds up on the bottom of the blade. You have to do some kind of filing to get it on. This one goes down all the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is take some way to mark it right where it comes out of the back of the grip. I'm going to use whiteout. So I'm going to make a mark right where it comes out. Take the grip off. So the mark is right here. You can kind of barely see it. Next thing I'm going to do is to figure out where that shelf is. Take my screwdriver, go down the inside here until I bottom out. That's where the shelf is. Put my thumbnail here, pull it out, measure it, and it is actually slightly back of the thumb hook. It's right about there as opposed to there. That's an important thing. So I know it's back a little bit. Get more white out. Put the grip down next to it so I can see where the grip is relative to the tang. Make a mark there. So now I have marks on the blade that show where it comes out of the grip, and that's where the shelf is. I'm going to cut it a little bit around halfway. Okay. If in doubt, cut it long. You can always cut it shorter again. You cannot put it back once you make that cut. So let me get right here. I'll cut it. Okay, got my Dremel with the cutting wheel. Got my goggles on. I'm going to cut this again about halfway between the lines and then check it. So pardon the sparks. Here we go. And there we are. Now, forgot to say, the reason why everything's assembled, why we already have the guard, the pad, and the socket on there, because I have to account for that thickness, the thickness of the material and whatnot, in the length of the outside hex, or inside hex nut. If I don't do that, it might push the wrench out, and I'm kind of stuck with a grip I can't get on or off. So, put it back on real quick, stand by, goggles off, put the grip down. Here's that, the nut, and my thing there. Put it in. Go down. Now, you hear that ratchet going. That means that it bottomed out, and there's still room to go. So I do that so I don't over torque it. I want to make sure the wires are in place good. They're in place properly. I look in. There's still plenty of room to go. Get my regular inside hex wrench to tighten it up. the last little bits so I don't crush the wires. You can tell it's not pushing out. Got a good grip. And there we are. Now for an outside hex nut, which is basically a coupling nut, I would take the top mark where it came out here, and that's where I'd cut it. Because I don't want to be as picky. With an inside hex, I do. That is how you cut the Tang for a pistol grip with an inside hex pommel. Happy armoring.